Good morning and welcome into the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. As always, presented by Cavemen Associates. We're here at America First Fields and we're ready to crown some champions. I'm Alex Napolis, happy to be joined today by Alex Tumalip. And Tumalip, how are we feeling, man? It's the last day of girls soccer. The season's over and we get to see some champions tonight.
Well, the overarching storyline, Napolis, as we're looking at this, is we have 3 finals today. And the first thing you got to notice is that these are some of the best teams that have tracked all season long, and it starts here with American 4 taking on Lone Peak. And I told you walking into this place, there's nothing like a derby to crown a champion. And today, ultimate bragging rights on the line for both of these teams. This should be a fun matchup. In fact, all 3 of these should be fun matchups here going into this evening.
Region 3 rivals going head-to-head for the 6A crown. The number 2 in the RPI, Lone Peak, taking on the number 5 American Fork. And we're about getting ready for kickoff here. Tumalip, tell us what's going to make the difference tonight for these teams. What's the keys to the match?
Well, of course, the keys to the match, and this is weird, Napolis. I'm normally the one throwing it over my color guy, but I'm doing it today. And again, folks, of course, like I always do, Cavemen Associates, proud sponsor of the keys to the match. The full-service law firm focused on winning for you, the client. I mean, this is it for Lone Peak. I mean, breaking it down is going to be the key today. I mean, they struggled against one of the most compact defenses they would see in Layton. I mean, I know Layton was a 6 seed, but they had a lot of confidence going into that game, and it's going to be a key today to see if they can get in the channels, break some holes in the midfield, and break down this American 4 defense. On the other side for AF, it's really consistency. I mean, if you think about it, this team went into a shell almost after they scored in the first quarter of an hour against Skyridge back on Tuesday. The real key for them is they're going to have to be consistent against a Lone Peak team that doesn't give up a whole lot of chances. They're going to have to choose their times to go forward here, especially against a really fast Lone Peak offense. Should be an interesting matchup.
We're underway here at America First Field. Lone Peak get us started. Now here come the Knights with Bella Devi. Devi looking to play it into the box. A through ball that'll just go straight into the hands of Sarah Mathis. And look, in that semifinal, Sarah Mathis was huge. The penalty save, vital saves, important saves to keep AF ahead. And what can you tell us about Sarah Mathis?
Yeah, and Sarah Mathis, I mean, Sarah Mathis literally stood on her head, literally and figuratively, in that semifinal. I mean, you talked about Annapolis, the penalty save early. That's the problem right there. See, that pressure for Lone Peak is going to be on all afternoon. We just saw a through ball into the channel, and you see another one right there. Like I said, this Lone Peak team is going to attack. They're built to attack. You can see they're spread out in the midfield, spread out in the back. But when they pick and choose their times to go forward, they normally don't miss their chances. It's going to be really important for American 4 to establish some tempo early on to keep this Lone Peak defense honest.
And
look at that. Here they come.
Here comes AF as that ball filtered through and straight into the hands of Eliza Collins, safely taken by the sophomore goalkeeper. And again, this is a Lone Peak team who have only lost 1 game so far this season, yet to lose in-state. Their only loss coming out of state to Coronado, Nevada. That ball filtered over the top. Here comes Fuller, the shot, it's in! Right off the bat, the Knights take the lead! And it's Fuller who puts Lone Peak ahead!
What did I just talk about, Napolis? This Lone Peak team doesn't miss a whole lot of chances. Again, another ball over the top into the wide channels. At that time, the American 4 defense caught out in the back that time. I said it before, I said it early on, consistency was going to be the key. Lone Peak breaking down this American 4 defense early on. That's a clear sign of what could be coming here for this team this afternoon. And really, right now, this Lone Peak team, you couldn't have asked for a better start, scoring inside the first 3 minutes.
Correction on that one, it's Brooks Hendricks who scores for the Knights. That is her 18th goal on the season for the junior forward. And Brooks Hendricks, who just does fantastic to get in behind AF. And now AF trying to respond with Neidiger. That ball filtered through, and Ruby Lee comes across the shots and safely into the hands of Eliza Collins.
One thing you're noticing here, Annapolis, I think a lot of the folks got to be noticing here at home, there's a lot of space. And you can tell Lone Peak really spread out in their formation right now. It's an attacking formation for sure, but you can see there's a lot of space early on, especially in the channels in the midfield and out to the wide areas where I said AF has to attack and create some chances.
Now it's in the midfield with Neidiger as she looks to try to switch the plane of attack. Cut out by Sellers. Samantha Sellers keeping possession for the Knights all the way back to Smith. Smith pressured by Millward. And now Ruby Lee comes across to just clear it out for the Knights. And so we have an early lead for Lone Peak. It's 1-0. And I think at this point, the most important stat to look at is Eliza Collins, the starting goalkeeper for Lone Peak, leads the state in shutouts. That she has 15 shutouts on the year.
And you know, Annapolis, that's something that kind of gets overlooked when you're such a free-flowing offense. Is the ability to keep clean sheets defensively is just so key. And what's interesting, too, about all three of these finals that we're going to be watching today, Annapolis, is that all three of these teams, in some way, shape, or form, is offense against defense. And you already seen examples of it. Lone Peak taking advantage of their chances early. And then on the other side, they're also built strong in the back. And that's the reason why the Knights were tracking as one of the best teams all season long, because they're one of the most complete teams, and now they have a chance here again.
In the midfield now is Kate Fuller looking to push it up for Lone Peak. That ball up the pitch towards Sellers. That's Debbie. And Debbie, nice pressure there from American Fork to make sure that Debbie can't get it behind. Now that ball filtered through. And that is going to be Crandall who comes across to clear it. But Lone Peak's on the attack with Hendricks. Hendricks the cross into the box, far post. Goes across the face of goal, and now Tanuvasa still with an opportunity for the Knights. Here comes Tanuvasa, gets past one, trying to get past two, and a nice defensive effort from AF to win it back. Huddleston.
Watch out here on the counter.
Settles it to Neidiger. And one back by the Knights.
That was a great opportunity there on the counter. Look out, they could be through again here.
Ball filtered through to Sellers, and Crandall coming across defensively again. That ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to be an AF throw.
This has got to be worrisome here if you're AF here, Annapolis. A lot of space opening up at the back. Very spread out here early on. Lone Peak with some really good tempo passing into those wide channels and into those midfield areas. Like I said, the key to the game was going to be breaking it down. And inside the first, 5-6 minutes of the match, you could see Lone Peak taking advantage of those gaps that American Fork is leaving in the midfield. They've had a lot of play through the midfield, a lot of uncontested passes.
Ball up top, looking for Bella Devi, who can't bring it down. It's going to go out of bounds and out for another AF throw. And then American Fork winning possession back. Trying to clear it out. Here comes Faith Neidiger. Ball played up and towards the middle of the park. Out wide to Ekry, the goal scorer in the semifinal match. Here comes Sophie Ekry looking to play it back in. That's now Neidiger. Neidiger back out wide to Ekry. Ekry against Smith. That ball inside the box and cleared out by the Knights.
Again, American Fork, Annapolis attacking into those wide channels early on, trying to find some space against those Lone Peak defenders. They've clogged up the middle of the park pretty well here in the first 7-8 minutes of the match here, Lone Peak, but they're allowing a whole lot of space in the wide channels early on. They got to close that space down.
Schneider plays the ball through, looking for Huddleston, who's taken down. No call there. Neidiger trying to bring it down the middle of the park. Here comes Fuller on the defensive effort. Tanuvasa now comes across, makes the challenge, and wins the ball back for the Knights. Here comes Tanuvasa looking to switch it over towards Sellers, and it lands at the feet of Sellers, and it's going to be Johnson trying to defend Samantha Sellers, but Sellers taking it up the sideline now towards the edge of the box, looking to play it in. Here comes Sellers across the face of goal, and Lucy Kessler coming across defensively to clear.
Well, that time it was Lone Peak getting into the wide channels. And what a great ball by Tanuvasa to kickstart that whole counter there, kickstart that attack there. Switching that play really from clearly almost halfway across the field. I mean, that's the thing about playing at a stadium like America First, or as I still call it, Rio T. I mean, there's going to be a lot of green grass to work with here for both sides.
The cross into the box, looking far post. The header is up and out, and it'll be goal kick AF. I did love the vision from Tanuvasa there to just switch the plane of attack and get it over. Now AF trying to play it out of the back. It's going to be Jones who plays it up, and it's just going to go out of bounds and out for the throw.
That was not a very wise decision, I think, there to play that ball up the wide channels. Probably better to just stay in the middle of the park right now, especially with how compact this Lone Peak defense is.
Nice little bit of skill there from Neidiger to get past some Lone Peak Knights. That ball out of bounds and out for another throw. It's going to be SD Schneider here on the near side who plays it into Neidiger, and Neidiger and Schneider can't connect. Lone Peak ball. Hendricks playing it in towards Bella Devi, and then Jones comes across defensively. Devi now in possession. Devi trying to get past Neidiger. Has time, has space, has options, floats one in, and it'll just trickle back into the hands of Sarah Mathis. That ball out to Neidiger near the middle of the park. We'll settle it to Schneider. Schneider out wide to Eckery. Sophie Eckery looking to play it up to Huddleston. Nice step there from Ruby Lee. And now here comes Kessler. Lucy Kessler for AF. Switches the point of attack towards Millward. Millward using her speed, but can't track it down. It'll go out of bounds and out for the goal kick.
Yeah, that was the right idea, though. I was seeing it from on that side of the midfield. You probably saw it too, Annapolis, is that she was wide open up the top, trying to switch the play right there. And again, the wide channel's a little bit more open than I think Lone Peak would like defensively here in the early going.
Ball from Denny will go back to Beck. Beck looking for Hendricks up the sideline, out of bounds and out for another throw. And let's take a look at some of the players to keep an eye on tonight. I mean, obviously Lone Peak's already up with a goal from Hendricks, who's the leading goal scorer, now has 18 goals, 9 assists on the season. Samantha Seller with 13 goals, 13 assists, and Kate Fuller with 10 and 9 assists for Lone Peak. On the other side for AF, Lucy Kessler, the midfielder, stepping up and putting 15 goals, 5 assists on the year. Huddleston has 10 goals, 2 assists. Neidiger with 6 and 2 assists. Here come the Knights. That ball near the top of the box. The shot can't keep it on frame. Over and out for the goal kick.
Well, you just talked about Hendricks, Sellers, and Fuller, 13, 10, and 20, 17, 13, and 10. I think that should tell the viewers at home just how good this Lone Peak attack really is. I mean, they have so many weapons up front. And look out here, AF's got a counter opportunity.
Over the top to Millward near the top of the box. Millward brings it down, and great defensive effort from MJ Madsen to make sure that she did not get the chance to cross it into the box.
Yeah, it looked like she had a chance right there, but as you said, great job by Madsen, the left fullback coming up from her left fullback position there, Annapolis, to make a play on the ball. That's really one you got to be careful on. I mean, you don't want to commit a foul in the penalty area because, especially with how active both of these teams in attack can be, you don't want to give away free chances.
29-25 left to go in the first. Lone Peak lead 1-0. Looking for their second state championship. They've only won one back in 2018. Looking to end that drought and win the crown of 6A. As they currently hold that lead, that ball goes out of bounds and out. MJ Madsen on the far side to take the throw-in, settles it to Sellers. Sellers will now look to play it back to Madsen. Switches it over to Smith. Smith with an opportunity, and now looking to connect with Denny, and AF just comes up and clears. Crandall on the clearance. Throw-in coming up for the Knights here on the near side. These two teams, as we mentioned before, Alex, they're region rivals, and Lone Peak won the region series, winning both of those games 3-0 and then a 2-0 win at home.
Yeah, and you look at the history as that ball hits the official right there, dead ball. So we talked about it too. I mean, there's bragging rights on the line because if you look back at the history now, plus of these two programs, you look at between 2015 and 2020, 3 of the 4 titles were won by either AF or Lone Peak. So you could tell these two. So I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out these two teams have history, and right now, at least for the time being, it looks like they have the advantage here, AF.
And that ball looking in the direction of Eckery. That ball out of bounds and out for another goal kick. And yeah, Alex, as you mentioned, AF 2-time state champion, one in 2017 and one in 2019. Also looking to put an end to a title drought.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we don't normally classify a title drought as 4 or 5 years there, Annapolis, but, you know, we're both Premier League fans, right? We're both MLS fans, and, like, that's an eternity. That's an eternity in football.
Absolutely is. That ball won in the middle of the park by Devi. Will look to float one through on the sideline to Hendricks. Schneider coming across defensively. Hendricks gets around near the edge of the box now is Hendricks trying to get around Schneider. Schneider recovering well defensively. Still Hendricks, the cross, and it'll be stolen by Millward. Nice heads-up play there for Millward to win it back.
A kind of a misplay there. Kind of a misplay there if you think about it for LP because Tanuvasa was kind of just sitting there waiting for it to come to her. I mean, you just got to step up and just hit that sucker whenever it comes to you.
Fuller
That's a foul.
Taken down. We're going to have a free kick in a very dangerous position here for the Knights.
Yeah, very dangerous indeed, Annapolis. And I have to say, Low Peak has dominated the first 15, 20 minutes of the match here. They've had a lot of the good chances here early on. And really, it's come because they've attacked through those channels in the midfield. They spread the attack out wide when they had to. They've gotten this American Fork defense disorganized, and now they have a free kick from about 22 yards out. See who takes it and see what they got here. Got to hold your line here if you're AF.
Devi, Fuller, and Denny standing over the ball. It's going to be Bella Devi who will go for goal and can't keep it on frame. Out of bounds for the goal kick.
Yeah, really no other option right there. Annapolis had to go on goal because they only had 3 black shirts within that line right there. Would have been a difficult ball to play in. It would have taken a special ball for that to get through and probably not generated an offside.
Denny now fighting for it in the middle of the park. Kessler brings it down, and now AF trying to break. Nice little bit of skill there from Kessler as that ball goes wide to Millward. Millward against Madsen. Millward again showing off a little bit of skill as that ball filtered through towards Huddleston, but Eliza Collings off her line to collect, and it'll be safely into the hands of Collings. This part of the match is brought to you by Igloo Outfitters, the coziest wearable sleeping bag that has you covered during those chilly days and nights. Worry no more about the weather and watch your favorite team in comfort with Igloo Outfitters. Go to igloooutfitters.com and enter Rewind for $20 off. Never miss the moments. Denny in the middle of the park to Tanuvasa. Lone Peak still in possession now with Bryn Beck out wide, looking for Hendricks. Nice step from Schneider to win it back. Here comes Faith Neidiger in the middle of the park, and then one back by Hendricks. Back to Bryn. Out wide to Smith. Smith pokes it up into Fuller. Fuller now to Hendricks. Hendricks up the sideline for Bella Devi. Can she track it? She does. Keeps it in bounds. Gets around Jones. Here comes Bella Devi into the box. Devi can now square it. She keeps it. The shot takes a deflection. Fuller near the top of the box. Devi now taking it from distance and can't put it on frame. Over and out for the goal kick.
Just so many chances here for LP early on. They really have dominated the possession of this ball game here so far, Annapolis. As AF is going to bring, it looks like Callie Condi's coming on here. Niece, of course, of Dave McCann. But should point out that, you know, like we said, LP dominating the possession early on. And they're generating a lot of chances, and that AF defense just doesn't look organized right now. Again, another giveaway there in the middle of the park.
Here comes the Knights. As that ball's brought down, Denny now in possession, and she'll go all the way back to Bryn Beck. Beck looking to play it up the sideline towards Hendricks. Hendricks against Schneider. Eckery coming back to cover defensively and out of bounds by Eckery. Throw-in coming up for Lone Peak, and we'll have another substitution getting ready as the Knights looking to make a change. Brooke Hendricks, the goal scorer, coming off. To replace, it's going to be Brooklyn Dowdle. Throw in here on the near side for Lone Peak. Smith to take. In now. Sellers bringing it down. Samantha Sellers trying to win it back. Cleared out. Not the best of hits there from Eckery, but still the Lone Peak Knights recover. Bella Devi trying to get around Condi. Devi now taking it in. Huge defensive play from Kessler. Still on peak. The shot from distance, and Tanavasa gets a little too much under it. Over and out for the goal kick.
Well, that AF defense has got to be exhausted right now. Annapolis in the back. They've been really defending hard these first 18 minutes of the match. Again, like we said, LP's had the bulk of the chances here early on. AF has got to find a way to get through this defense right now to take some pressure off that, the back end.
Now, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think AF has had a shot on target yet.
No, they have not. I'm with you on that one. I haven't noticed they had a shot. I think they've only had really one shot. I mean, the one big chance they had was well defended by LP. And, you know, Annapolis in a game where offense really is going to be the story. We talked about it off the top, right? Taking advantage of your chances. You know, LP, the only goal they scored on Tuesday against Layton was off a set piece, that long throw-in with 40 seconds left in regulation. And so far they scored, they look at, to see the pressure again there. Like, Lone Peak has come out with a lot of fire, a lot of energy so far, and AF has just had a hard time just reacting and getting their gears grinding here.
21 minutes left to go in the first. AF needs to make some adjustments to get some more pressure on that ball and try to find some more opportunities in the attack. Cook settles it back to Johnson. Johnson playing it up the sideline to Millward. AF here trying to build a little bit through possession as a nice defensive read there from, it looks like Ruby Lee, who comes across, and Lone Peak win it back. Schneider. Ekry plays it to Condi, and again, Lone Peak is just all over that ball. Back out to Fuller. Kate Fuller now against Cook up the sideline, looking for Kate Denny. And then Jones comes across defensively out for another throw. Substitutions coming up for both sides.
And by the way, Annapolis, you just talked about it, right? Lone Peak is all over the ball. You could see, we could see it right now. The pressure from that Lone Peak defense. There are no easy passes in any part of the park right now. Their defense is just all over every pass and every... It's like they're reading everything that American Fork is doing. This American Fork offense right now, really predictable, but yes, but that Lone Peak defense is just swarming everywhere right now. There's just like 3 or 4 black shirts around every single pass, and there is no easy passes right now for this American Fork team.
Samantha Sellers now looking to try to cross it into the box near the penalty spot. Kessler doesn't get the best foot on it. Fuller with the shot and can't put it on frame. Goal kick coming up once again for American Fork. Here comes an opportunity for AF as it looks like Kessler's trying to bring it down. Condi now in possession. Callie Condi out wide to Johnson. Johnson to back to Condi. Losing out possession. Nice step from Tanavasa to win it back. Tanavasa with options near the top of the 18. That ball goes out wide. The cross. Cook gets a foot on it to try to clear. Tanavasa recovers. Still an opportunity for the Knights as Samantha Sellers now near the top of the box. Sellers gets around and it's in. It's in the back of the net and Samantha Sellers makes it 2 for Lone Peak. Beautiful turn. And a shot picks the side netting and makes it 2.
You can feel it. It's been coming, Annapolis. You can feel that second goal's been coming because LP has just dominated the possession, dominated defensively in all facets here. They're just all over AF right now. What a great turn, as you said, to get the shot off. And even better, the patient buildup from that Lone Peak offense. I mean, that was such a great buildup from the back, moving into the midfield. And now AF in a really deep hole here, down 2-0. We only barely have 20 minutes gone here in this match.
Samantha Sellers, the goal scorer, now with another opportunity for the Knights. Back to Denny. Denny's going to look to support herself with Bryn Beck. Beck, the center back, near the middle of the park, trying to get it up. Sellers now ends up with possession. Samantha Sellers looking to filter one through and into the hands of Mathis. Kate Fuller and Samantha Sellers not on the same page there, but a good idea from Sellers. And a header in the middle of the park by Ruby Lee. Fuller brings it down. Lone Peak. Again, just winning back possession. And now it's out wide in the direction of Zettner. Up the pitch now, back to Zettner. Lone Peak is just controlling possession. They have absolutely dominated here as far as time on the ball in the early 23 minutes of this one.
Yeah, and like we said, Annapolis, I mean, that was going to be the key, right? Lone Peak had to come out and break down this American Fork defense, but I think it's more so that American Fork is, or rather, Lone Peak has found ways to not only break down the defense, but they've also found ways to hem American Fork in their own half. And this is what kept Skyridge in the match against AF. I mean, AF scored within the first 15 minutes against Skyridge back on Tuesday, but after that, it just seemed like the Cavemen just went into a shell defensively, and now they're just like defending every other second of this match.
Huge slide tackle there from Crandall, who comes across and makes sure Bella Devi couldn't play it across the face of goal. And the junior center back, Taylor Crandall, smart play there defensively.
Yeah, very smart, because you don't want to take a penalty in that part of the pitch. You got an even more dangerous corner coming here. Looks like they're flooding everybody toward that near post.
Goes towards the back post, and a loose ball poked out, cleared by AF. And it's going to be Zettner to take here on the near side. Lone Peak still in the attacking third. Looking for another opportunity to whip a ball in. Here comes Zettner. Now plays it in near the top of the 18. Brought down by Bella Devi, who has an opportunity with the shot. Looking towards that back post and just skims past Sarah Mathis, his far post, and it looked like Samantha Sellers was trying to get on the end of it as well.
I think the senior Brooklyn Dowdle actually tried to get there. What a great turn from Devi to spray that thing across the face of goal and create some chaos in the middle of the six. But like we said, LP just dominating now, and they've got American Fork hemmed in here. Look how many people that AF has got dropped back on the edge of the penalty area. They got 8 people dropped back. No chance for them to get on the attack right now.
The shot coming off, takes a deflection of Johnson. And now MJ Madsen looking to float one in. Takes a skip over Ivy Harding. And out for the goal kick, and another good opportunity for the Knights.
The other thing I'm noticing, Annapolis, I think the other thing the viewers are probably noticing, is that LP is winning a lot of one-on-one battles right now. They're winning a lot of one-on-one battles against the defenders on the backside. And I guess it comes with the territory, too, because when you've been defending for so long and you're hemming a team in their own end for a long period of time, you want to take advantage of some one-on-one matches because you know those defenders are just going to be exhausted and pulling at the shirt on every opportunity they get.
Ball filtered through, looking for Ekry. Ekry gets a foot on it, but it's just going to trickle back through into the hands of Eliza Collings. And it seems as though most opportunities that AF gets, Eliza Collings is there. That ball takes a bounce. It's now Bella Devi who takes a shot, puts it into the back of the net. It's 3. Smart heads-up play from Devi, who just lets it bounce over the defense, uses her speed to get on the end of it, and tucks it, nestles it into the bottom corner. 3-0 Lone Peak lead.
Wow. Again, those one-on-one battles at the bat, Annapolis. American Fork has been defending for a long period of time. It was only a matter of time before they won that one-on-one battle. What a great ball over the top, and again, Devi letting it bounce, and then hitting it almost on the half volley.
Takes an awkward deflection, and now here comes McCormick, who is trying to play it through. And that ball out of bounds and out. AF, they need a response. They need to get something going here before the end of the half. And now Neidiger looking to float one in towards McCormick. Nice step there from Bryn Beck to clear defensively. And AF now in their attacking third, looking to build some possession and try to find an opportunity to pull one back. That ball out of bounds once again. AF throw.
And we keep talking about Annapolis. That looks like the very first time in this entire first half that AF has actually flowed forward to the ball. But like we said, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out they need a response now. I mean, if they can pull back one before halftime, that would be a huge boost for them going into the second half. But you know, with the way LP has dominated this first half, it's hard to think that, it's hard to believe that, you know, coming in, we would have seen this coming.
12:47 left to go in the first. It's a 3-0 lead for the Lone Peak Knights. Goals scored by Brooke Hendricks, Samantha Sellers, and Bella Devi. That ball brought down by Neidiger in the middle of the park. Faith Neidiger looking to float one through in the direction of McCormick. Brent Beck coming across defensively again to clear. That's balls up the sideline now in the direction of Bailey Ballard, who lets it go out of bounds. Throwing coming up for Lone Peak. One back by Crandall. Lucy Kessler in the middle of the park. Looking to play it out wide to Eckery. Eckery now takes a heavy touch, is able to bring it down. Sophie Eckery waiting for support against Zettner. Ivy Harding coming across. And now back to Schneider. Faith Neidiger in the middle of the park. Losing out possession. Crandall takes a step. McCormick looking to bring it down. Beck clears. Jones gets ahead on it. And now Connie playing out wide to Eckery. Nice little bit of skill there from Connie to find Eckery. McCormick now looking to play it back. Couldn't settle it and loses out possession. That ball played quickly upfield to Dowdle. Dowdle now looking to play it up the sideline on the far side. The cross is in, looking back post. No one there. And now recovered by Harding. Ivy Harding, the hero of the semifinal, near the edge of the box. Against Schneider. Harding can't get around Schneider. Nice defensive effort. Nice defensive play there from Schneider. Tanuvasa winning it back in the middle of the park. That ball played upfield now. Settled it for Zettner. Zettner looking to switch it over towards Dowdle. One back by Neidiger. McCormick trying to play it up to Bailey Ballard on the far side, but gets too much on it, out of bounds for another throw.
Yeah, it just looks like Annapolis at AF is just forcing things a little bit here. Like that was a pretty strange decision there by McCormick to take that pass when she knew she had no support going up the wing side. Just gives a free pass right back to LP. And now here they come again.
And I like that you used forcing it, because in this situation you can't force it. You have to play smart and find your opportunities. That ball out wide to Ballard. This could be one here. Ballard waiting for support, trying to get around Madsen. The cross is in and straight into the hands of Eliza Collings, who cuts out the cross.
Yeah, it looks like Lone Peak must have heard me when I was saying that they were allowing too much space into the wide channels earlier. They spread their fullbacks out now to the wing. It almost looks like they brought a fifth defender on into the back, so it looks like they might be dropping a midfielder back into that center position just to help out those people on the wide channels, because as we said early on, there looked to be a lot of space in those channels, but now it looks like LP's made the adjustment, and it seemed like the passes were getting harder and harder to break.
Zettner up the sideline looking for Harding. Harding here on the near sideline looking to cross it into the box. Does the far post. The cross back in. Johnson gets a foot on it, and then Neidiger clears. Zettner will recover. Brought down. It's now Tanuvasa. Ball out wide to Dowdle. Brooklyn Dowdle looking to get around Johnson. Cross into the box near the penalty spot. And They avoid the corner. Eckery does a good job to come across, but it's going to be throw-in for LP. Substitutions now coming up for both sides as well. Julia Huddleston, 10 goals, 2 assists on the year. They need more from one of their top goal scorers in Huddleston, who checks back in for American Fork. Bryn Beck to Tanuvasa. Tanuvasa looking to tee it up and takes it from distance. Over the bar and out, goal kick. 8:05 left to go, 3-0. A Lone Peak lead. This part of the match is brought to you by Advanced Windows. Their fall window sale is going on right now. Get $2,000 off, 10 windows or more, 60 months, 0% interest financing available for a limited time only. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100 for $2,000 off, 10 windows or more.
And, of course, don't forget, Annapolis, after the conclusion of the match, we'll be selecting our choice for the Heidemann & Associates Woman of the Match, presented by the full-service law firm committed to winning for you, the client. Call them today at 801-472-7742 or contact them online at utah.law to schedule your free consultation.
Lone Peak winning back. Here comes Bryn Beck. Ball filtered through. Looking for, looks like that's Tessa Carter. And then Crandall comes across and clears.
Yeah, things are just coming way too easy right now for Lone Peak through this defense. You can tell this AF defense is just exhausted out there, having defended for such a big portion of this first half. They're getting numbers to the ball defensively, but it just looks like they're having a much better time on ball. As I don't think that was a very smart play right there, but like we said, I mean, Lone Peak has just dominated this entire first half, Annapolis, and a lot of the things that they're getting right now are just coming easy.
Ivy Hardy winning it back. Here comes Fuller. Fuller taking it towards the top of the 18. Kate Fuller can make it 4. Crandall comes across defensively. Harding with the volley. And then Jones gets a foot on it. Samantha Sellers trying to win it high up the pitch. She does. Sellers against Johnson. Trying to get some support. Comes off of AF. Lone Peak throw in the attacking third. That ball, Neidiger comes across, gets a foot on it, pokes it out. Another throw-in coming up for Lone Peak. Sellers brings it down, trying to get around Johnson. Samantha Sellers does a good job to get around, and then Cook lets it roll, and out of bounds and out for the goal kick.
It looked like there was a miss hit right there. That was a golden opportunity to make it 4, and you know, that's another one of the products we've seen from this Lone Peak offense. Look at that, another giveaway there in the middle of the park.
One back by Lone Peak. That ball floated through to Fuller. Kate Fuller with a nice little bit of skill as she looks to cross it in. Does, back post. Comes off the boot of Tessa Carter. And it's going to be, or excuse me, that's Kate Denny, and it's going to be a corner kick coming up for Lone Peak. Set piece opportunity coming up for the Knights.
Well, last time they had the corner, they flowed everybody to that back post. Let's see what they try to do this time. It looks like they're all trying to flow that same way and get at least a couple bodies going to that near one.
Ivy Harding back post, floats through, and it'll just trickle out of bounds and out for another Lone Peak throw. American Fork, again, they're looking like they can't clear their lines. The pressure from Lone Peak keeping them in the attacking third. Tanuvasa floats one in near the penalty spot. Fuller was there, and it's going to be another corner for the Knights.
It's been a theme so far. I mean, we sound like a broken record, Annapolis, but it's been the truth here in this first half. I mean, just every single opportunity for LP has just come easy for them.
The cross into the box, near the middle of the mix, and out for the goal kick. Lone Peak gets a header on it. I believe that was Bryn Beck, the center back, who can't put it on frame. Jones boots it upfield. One back by Fuller. Denny looking to bring it down. And they'll call it a handball. Neidiger now playing it in.
About the only thing that's gone wrong for Lone Peak here in the first half was that handball.
That ball floated up. Nice step from MJ Madsen. Or that's Smith now on the far side, who steps up well. Lone Peak recovering possession. Tanuvasa near the top of the box. It's Tessa Carter playing it out wide to Sellers. Sellers now with an opportunity, has options and space. Looking to get around her defender. Does. Taking it up the byline. Across the face of goal. Huge defensive effort from Schneider.
Boy, I
to
thought,
clear it off the line.
Boy, I thought sorry, Napolis. I thought that ball was going in. I don't know how in the world that thing stayed out.
Schneider coming across and clears it. And now that ball back to Cullings. And Lone Peak once again in possession. 2:40 left to go in the first. Sellers to Smith. Smith up the sideline. And now here coming AF off the giveaway. Bailey Ballard on the far side. Can't get past Ruby Lee. And now Ruby Lee brings it up. Lee looking to filter one through. No one there, and it'll go into the hands of Sarah Mathis. Booted away by Mathis. 2 minutes left. AF, can they respond? That ball will trickle through to Smith as Smith brings it down for Lone Peak. Bad giveaway once again. Neidiger with the press, trying to come across. Here comes Huddleston with an opportunity. The shot and big punch save by Eliza Collings.
I was just about to say, Napolis, when Eliza Collins gets tested, how is she going to respond? Because she has not had a lot to do here in this first half. That is a big-time answer to that shot right there, and that was a pretty poor giveaway in the middle of the park there. I don't know what they were trying to do, but that's the first time we've seen AF press this entire half. And now this is their first corner kick and their first dangerous set piece of the entire match right here, and it comes with 90 left in the first.
Near post, and it'll just go out of bounds, and unfortunate for AF, who can't get a set piece opportunity off.
Yeah, that was really disappointing, but again, like we said, can AF get something positive before the end of the first half, Napolis? That is a big, big response. And that's the first big test of the day for Eliza Collins, and she came up with a pretty remarkable save because, again, you're not only battling the defense, you're also battling the sun because it is just pounding down here into her end right now. And it's a pretty cool day. I mean, it's only 60, 70 degrees, but it's got to be hotter on the field, and you're battling the sun, which is coming directly into your face on that end of America First Field.
Eliza Collins, the sophomore goalkeeper, again leads the state in clean sheets, has 15 on the year, and Lone Peak have 6 game straights with the clean sheet.
That doesn't sound like a sophomore to me. 15 clean sheets.
That ball now out here on the near side to Schneider, and can't be brought down by Condi. One back by Lone Peak. Fuller, 10 seconds left. Schneider can just play it out of bounds and basically end the first half, and that's going to do it. We've reached the end of the first, and it's a 3-0 Lone Peak lead, the number 2 in the RPI, in control of the 6A championship match. Tumalips, your final thoughts on that first half?
I will say this. We talked about it early on, Napolis. It was going to come down to who could take advantage of their chances. Lone Peak clearly taking advantage of their chances and clearly dominating that first half, except for maybe the last 2 minutes of that first half. Lone Peak had everything rolling in that first half, and they made the adjustments necessary. I'm very surprised at the scoreline, but not very surprised at the way Lone Peak has attacked here. We expected them to come out with a lot of fire, and American Fork has just not responded at all. They looked a little bit slow coming out of the gate, and they have a big hole to dig out of in the second half.
If you're AF, what needs to change in that second half to try to get back into this one?
Well, just get something positive. I mean, like, the only real chance they had was at the end of that first half was where they had that shot on goal off the turnover. Those are the kind of things you need. You need to get pressure on the ball. You need to flow forward in the attack, press that Lone Peak back line up to the goalkeeper, because right now Lone Peak has just had everything flowing from the halfway line in, and that's not going to cut it. You really need to get your opportunities, and you really need to get going here. If I'm AF right now, they get a goal to start the second half, that could change the complexion of this entire match, because it's only still a 2-goal game, but you still have 39 minutes to pick up 2 more.
And so we're going to take a quick step away here on the Rewind Sports Network, as always presented by Heidemann & Associates. Stick with us for 6A championship action when we return. Welcome you back into America First Field, located here in beautiful Sandy, Utah. And we're getting ready to start the second half of the 6A championship match between the number 2 Lone Peak and the number 5 American Fork. It is a 3-0 lead by the Knights to start the second half. And they have been fantastic, controlling possession, finding their opportunities in the attack. Brooke Hendricks, Samantha Sellers, and Bella Devi, the goal scorers for Lone Peak. And how will AF respond? What adjustments are made at the half? I'm Alex Annapolis, happy to be joined by Alex Tumalip. And Tumalip, again, getting ready to start the second half, 3-0 lead. We'll see if AF are able to get it back into it.
Yeah, it was a beatdown. Let's be fair and just call it what it was. I mean, it was just a masterclass by LP. On the ball, off the ball, pressure was just suffocating. They had plenty of chances, but they took advantage of their chances, and that's something we couldn't say about them in that semi against Layton. Here they are on the front foot already. I mean, that's pretty much the picture anybody needs to see at home right now, is that, you know, LP is taking advantage of their chances, and they've got American Fork hemmed in. They had them hemmed in for most of that first half, and now they're just continuing to assert that early here, not even 30 seconds into the second half.
Big save there from Mathis to deny Sellers. The cross into the box, far post. The header floats across the face of goal, but goes out of bounds and out for another goal kick. Lone Peak picking up right where they left off, having possession in the attacking third and cutting out balls like that in the middle of the park. Here comes Ekri on the far side, playing it back, and won back by the Knights. Here comes Tanuvasa.
I think that was more of a giveaway more than anything. It looked like she just passed it to pass it.
As Sellers trying to get around Crandall, Mathis off her line and holds it well.
She's had a lot to do this morning and this afternoon, Annapolis. It's really just been surprising just how well Lone Peak has played, in contrast to just how much American Fork has dominated. And here they come again. Look how many black shirts are coming forward.
Hendricks, the cross. Sellers is there, makes it 4. It's a brace for Samantha Sellers, and it's 4 for the Lone Peak Knights. 2 minutes into the second half, 4-0.
It's just been that kind of a day for LP. You kind of just wonder who's going to score next, Annapolis, because at this point, everybody's going to score for Lone Peak. But again, just so easy how AF has just allowed that space into the channels, and no one there to just provide any resistance.
Millward. Ball given away, cut out by Denny. Played up the pitch in the direction of Bella Devi, one of the goal scorers on the morning. Here comes Sellers. Sellers looking to play one through back to Devi, and Mathis doing well to come off her line. Nicely shielded by Crandall as well.
If you're American Fork, that's not the start you wanted to the second half. I know it's a 3-0 game, but you were looking for a whole lot better start than that coming out of the locker room. And that is just, it's just adding fuel to the fire right now that these Cavemen have to deal with. And really, it's just been shocking, Annapolis, just how easy Lone Peak's been able to play through this American Fork defense. We thought they had to break it. We had to break them down. We didn't think it was going to be this easy.
Lone Peak in possession again. Devi looking to float one through. And now lands at Samantha Sellers. Sellers cuts inside. And Faith Neidiger comes across to win it back. Neidiger looking to play up the sideline towards Eckery. Nice step from Smith. Lands at Hendricks. And then cut out by Schneider. Throw-in coming up for the Knights. Tanuvasa controlling in the middle of the park. Tanuvasa taking it up the sideline now. Cuts back inside. Tanuvasa with an opportunity. Nice cut out by Cook. Here comes Neidiger to Huddleston. Huddleston settles it well. Here comes Kessler. Kessler out wide looking for Millward, who tracks it. And then MJ Madsen comes across to cut it out. Madsen will now clear up the sideline looking for Sellers. Takes a deflection off of Johnson, out for the Lone Peak throw. That ball back in play now. Devi bringing it down. The North Carolina commit, Bella Devi, with an opportunity as the shot into the hands of Mathis, who covers well.
Yeah, the Tar Heels are going to be loving her right now. She's been the spark plug of the attack here for LP this morning. A lot of the play has gone through her, Annapolis, whether it's been out in the wide channels on the wing, or in the middle of the pitch, or in really the top of the 18, where a lot of the AF players have been situated. She's just found ways to get in behind that back line and cause havoc for that AF defense.
Tanuvasa plays back to Lee. Lee, who will play it up the pitch, looking for Hendricks, who tries to bring it down. Gets a foot on it, but out of bounds and out. Throw in coming up for AF. Here comes Neidiger. Looking to play it up. Eckery now has an opportunity as Eckery gets around two. And then Smith does a good job defensively to recover and cleared out by Lone Peak. Up the pitch now, looking for Bella Devi. Devi using her speed to get around Jones. And then Jones comes across to clear. Nice recovery from Jones, but how about the speed on display there from Devi?
And that's the difference right now, Annapolis, is that it just looks like Lone Peak is fresher. They're more alive to the ball. They're taking advantage of one-on-one battles when they have them, and AF just looks slow. You can see a lot of hands on knees right there on the back line across the back. They've been defending for a huge portion of this match, and now they're in trouble again.
Sellers looking to square it, and cleared out by American Fork. Again, Lone Peak just dominating possession in the attacking third. Fuller now looking to cross it in. Millward coming across defensively. And we'll have a corner kick coming up for the Lone Peak Knights.
You know, Jake Hatch told me that I'm pretty good at keeping stats in my head, Annapolis. I couldn't even tell you on two hands right now how many corners Lone Peak has. That's how dominant they have been this morning. I mean, I have to tell you, that probably could be their 11th, 12th, or 13th corner. However many it is, it's a lot.
Lone Peak looking to tee up a set-piece opportunity.
I think I might need Vince's hands to help me count on them.
That cross will come into the box, and it'll just be kept to Bella Devi near the top of the 18. Lone Peak still in possession as Kate Fuller taking it in. We'll try it. Looking back post. Can't put enough of it on frame. Out for the goal kick.
Yeah, I think she was trying to get Mathis to come off her line right there with that cross. I think she was trying to bend that thing back to the back post because they have three black shirts lined up on that back line for AF. Just couldn't find enough snap on that one. It's really difficult. It's really difficult at this level. You don't often see that happen, or as work as well at this level, just because players are still developing at this level.
Denny now in possession for Lone Peak. Settles it for Lee. Lee plays it up, looking for Fuller, and cut out by Jones. Jones for AF in possession. Nice little bit of skill there from Jones to get around one. Into the middle of the park now for Neidiger. Neidiger looking at options, looking to switch it, the attack to Kessler. Kessler plays it back and now controls it in the middle of the park. Up the pitch, looking for Eckery. Takes an awkward deflection off of Bryn Beck, cleared out by Eliza Collings. And now Sellers with a nice sombrerito there to play it over Johnson. And now Sellers looking to float one
Nice
through.
ball.
Mathis off her line and collects for AF.
How about that ball right there? Such a slick pass, cutting between the two defenders right there. Just a little too much pace on that ball, but again, Lone Peak just slicing their way right through this back line. Look, they got another gap here.
Denny to Hendricks, who's offside. It will not count as the flag raised here on the near side.
Might have been a half a step offside. We don't have the luxury of having VAR or any of that automated offside stuff that gets it wrong like 99% of the time, but again, just Lone Peak just making it look so easy right now, taking advantage of these tired AF defenders on the back line. And meanwhile, while AF is in possession, Lone Peak is just all over them. Look how many black shirts are around the ball right here, floating into that one.
Kessler to Huddleston, who brings it down near the top of the 18. Huddleston trying to turn, and then the shot that'll go straight into the hands of Eliza Collings. And danger averted there for the Lone Peak Knights.
That's probably AF's only third shot they've had all day long. I mean, I could probably count on one hand how many shots AF has had this morning. Watch out here. Play might be on. I think the play, I think the play was onside there, Annapolis.
Sellers can't get on the end of it, goes out of bounds. Substitution coming up for AF. And look, I thought at this point of the match, you're up 4. I thought Lone Peak would have taken their foot off the gas just a tiny bit, but Lone Peak has still been all over that attacking third, looking for those opportunities.
Well, Annapolis, I have to say, you're a Kearns guy. If you were playing Cyprus at this point in a final, if it's a derby, heck no, I wouldn't be taking my foot off the gas.
Bella Devi near the top of the 18, trying to square it back in towards Denny. That ball out, and now Neidiger gets ahead on it, looking to play it through, but Bryn Beck is there to cover defensively all the way back to Eliza Collings, who has all the time in the world to make a decision on how she's going to clear, and just boots it up the pitch. Up the sideline, Sellers coming down, and Sellers again with a little sombrerito to get it over to Madsen. Madsen in to Devi. Devi back out wide to Sellers, and now Samantha Sellers looking to get around Crandall. Nice defensive read as AF win it back in the middle of the park.
And I want the viewers at home to watch. When AF gets the ball, look how many black shirts are coming up the pitch with them. Not on this play, but watch on this. But watch, they're coming up the pitch. Look, 5 black shirts came up the pitch on that. That defense is just suffocating right now.
Here comes Millward. Can't get around Madsen. Madsen trying to shield it, and we'll make sure that one doesn't go out for the corner. Throw-in coming up for American Fork. Into Kessler. Kessler brings it down. Sellers cutting it out. And that ball just will peter out of bounds and out for the goal, or excuse me, for the throw-in. Crandall here on the near side to take. So we had Johnson and Crandall both taking the throw.
I think there was confusion on who was supposed to take the throw right there. About who was supposed to throw it in. The official was looking at him saying, well, which one of you is going to do it?
Johnson will now throw it in. To Neidiger. Faith Neidiger against Ruby Lee. Lee doing an amazing defensive effort. Throwing coming up for American Fork. Johnson here on the near side. Ball played in. And it'll trickle back out of bounds once more. Crandall to throw. Nice step from Denny to win it back and get a foot on it. Jones will just play it back. to Mathis. Mathis to boot it out. Fuller bringing it down. Debbie will just let it roll. She was in an offside position, and all the way back to Mathis again. Denny gets a header on it. It will land at MJ Madsen. Madsen to boot it up. Millward got a deflection on it. Now AF in possession. Here comes Kessler. Kessler looking to switch it over to Ekry. Ekry bringing it down. Sophie Ekry with an opportunity for American Fork. Back to Kessler near the middle of the park. Settles it for Cook. Cook to Neidiger. Neidiger losing her footing. Keeps possession. Neidiger taking it out to the wing. Cuts it back to Millward. Madsen gets a foot on it. Johnson now will take it from distance and safely into the hands of Eliza Collings.
Yeah, great organization there by that Lone Peak back line there, Annapolis, just keeping American Fork out of the penalty area right there. We haven't seen AF get into the penalty area a lot in this ball game, but when they have, they've been pretty dangerous. And that was a pretty good job by that Lone Peak defense to stay organized and hold their line right there, especially in the middle of the park, not allowing those channels.
Devi pulls it back and now plays it to Fuller. Fuller now with an opportunity. Somehow gets past Crandall, and then Jones comes across offensively. Brent Beck in possession now for the Knights. And look, we were talking about taking their foot off the gas earlier, and this one has slowed down a little bit now. Both teams just taking their time in possession, not really looking to play it forward.
Yeah, it does seem it's slowed down a little bit. I mean, well, again, it's a 4-0 game, but at the same time, I think it just kind of comes with the territory. We saw this a bit in the first half, too, right? Annapolis, where it kind of slowed down a little bit. But even in a slow tempo kind of slog, Lone Peak has shown they can still be dangerous. As a foul's committed right there, but, you know, it really has slowed down a little bit. I mean, but not to say that Lone Peak hasn't taken their foot off the gas. When they get their opportunities, they're springing forward at every chance they get.
Kessler looking to float one into the penalty spot. Brought down. Cook hits it on the volley. Doesn't get the best of touches on it, and into the hands of Collings.
Yeah, I think at this point, Annapolis, you're down 4-0 with 25 minutes to go here in the match. I mean, just one goal for AF will do a lot for their confidence. I think you definitely do not want to get, of all things in a derby, especially in a championship game, and especially in a derby that matters so much, you do not want to get shut out. You do not want to get a clean sheet put up on you. I mean, I will tell you as a Manchester United fan, if City ever put up a clean sheet on Manchester United win the Premier League, I would be steaming for the next 365 days over that match.
That ball floated up, looking for Hendricks. Tanuvasa now controlling in the middle of the park for the Knights. Tanuvasa playing it out wide, cut out by Condi. And now it's Neidiger. Neidiger looking to float one through to Kessler. Here comes Lucy Kessler with an opportunity to cut inside. No one there but Ruby Lee. Still AF in possession as Ekry will take it. Saved by Collings. Millward was there to crash. Couldn't get on the end of it. Now Lone Peak will play it out. Here comes Fuller. Kate Fuller taking it up the pitch. It's 3 against 4. Ball to Devi. Out to Hendricks near the top of the 18. Brooke Hendricks cuts back inside. Settles it for Bella Devi. The shot is in. That's a hat trick. It's 3 for Samantha Sellers. And it's 5 for the Lone Peak Knights.
Wow, we saw an Olympicos attempt on one end, but like we said, American Fork so open at the back at this point, down 4-0, trying to push for at least one, and that leaves them so vulnerable at the back. And that defense, Annapolis, is just absolutely exhausted. And how about that? 5-0, and not only that, it's a hat trick in a championship game against your biggest rival? Are you kidding? Wow.
5-0. 23-27. Left to go in the second half. That ball floated over by AF. And now cut out in the middle of the park by Barton, who just gives it away. Lone Peak coming the other way.
Oh, geez, that could be in again.
Ball floated through to Fuller and cleared out by Johnson.
Jeez. I mean, if at Annapolis, I don't mean to be, I obviously don't mean to be rude here, but if you're American Fork, you just want to get out of here. You just want full time to come right now. I mean, you're getting dominated. You're exhausted. You're down 5. I mean, and it cannot feel good that this is happening against your biggest rival, too, in Lone Peak. I mean, AF and Lone Peak have a long, long history. I mean, just seeing this scoreline just adds to the fuel to the fire right now. Watch out here. Wow.
Fuller trying it from distance. Not too far off there from Cape Fuller, and now AF trying to play it out of the back with Jones. That's up the pitch to Condi. Condi, that ball takes a deflection, one back by Lone Peak. And now coming across is Barton. Millward losing out, and Barton recovering in the middle of the park for AF. Here comes Kessler.
Look at the pressure, too. Still pressing high up the pitch, up 5-0. I mean, if anything, Annapolis looks like that goal gave Lone Peak a little extra juice in the tank after it looked like it had slowed down for a few minutes.
Ivy Harding with the press, winning it high up in the attacking third, back to Fuller. And Lone Peak now with another opportunity as that ball goes out wide to Ivy Harding. Harding trying to play it back across, out for the corner. And Lone Peak with another opportunity. That's now 90 goals on the season for Lone Peak. That is the 90th goal that they have scored in this 2023 season, 2023-2024 season.
That's absolute insanity. I mean, they could. I mean, the way they're playing at this point, they could reach 100. I mean, they're just playing so free, so loose, and we talked about how off the top, you know, American Fork needed to come out with fire. They looked like they did, but it looked like it all just got sucked out of them when Lone Peak put the first goal on the board within 2 minutes, and they just never have recovered. And it looked like, if anything, Annapolis, American Fork played tighter after the first goal, and Lone Peak apparently just looked like they were looser. I don't know if it looked that way to you, but it certainly looks like Lone Peak was just playing loose after that first goal. American Fork just got tighter and tighter, and they never recovered. Absolutely,
man. You can see it within the first 2 minutes of a championship match. It never feels good, but instead of coming back with a little bit of a fire, it's just been absolutely dominated by Lone Peak since. Fuller near the top of the 18, taking the shot. Again, not too far off from Cape Fuller as that one goes over the bar and out. Goal kick coming up. We still have 20 minutes left to go here in the second half. And it's a 5-0 Lone Peak lead. Substitutions coming up for American Fork. And we'll take the time to remind you that this part of the match is brought to you by Heinemann Associates. Heinemann Associates is a flat-rate law firm that is completely focused on you. Get a free consultation by calling 801-472-7742 or go to utah.law to find the office nearest you. That ball back to the Knights. Here comes Fuller. Fuller playing it through to Dowdle. Brooklyn Dowdle near the top of the 18. Taking it out, taking the shot over the bar and out for the goal kick. AF playing it short to Jones. Jones will look to play it up. Out wide to Schneider. And now throw-in coming up for Lone Peak. Jones coming across defensively. AF just cannot clear their lines. That ball out of bounds once more for a Lone Peak throw. Tessa Carter brings it down. Zentner to Carter. In the middle now for Harding. Back to Carter. Carter to Harding near the edge of the box. That ball through to Carter. An opportunity for Fuller, trying to get the shot off. Does! Off the post! And cleared out by AF.
I think that took a nick off of somebody in the 6. But either way, AF gets bailed out again. I mean, in the first half it was their own defender. Now, second half, it's the crossbar.
Cleared out by American Fork, and it looks like at this point American Fork have rotated their lineup. Not a lot of the usual starters out there for AF. Smith to Tessa Carter. As that ball is out, and now American Fork throw. Johnson here on the near side to throw it in.
Yeah, Annapolis, I thought that ball was still in. That whole ball, of course, has to be over the sideline or over the byline for it to be considered an out ball. I thought that ball looked like it was still in, but apparently not.
Kessler looking to float one through. Zettner gets a foot on it, and it'll just go into the hands of Cullings. Eliza Cullings will now play it out. Harding to Zettner over on the far side. Zettner in possession. Nice little bit of possession here for Lone Peak. As the clock winds down here at America First Field. Ruby Lee playing it up into the middle now for Hannah Jackman. That ball back to Bryn Beck. Up the sideline now to Zettner. Zettner looking to play one through to Harding. Hardy against Jones. Harding takes a nice touch, and then Jones cuts it out. Cleared out, and here comes Kira Stevens. Cut out by Smith. Smith to Carter. Carter looking to play one through to Dowdle, who is offside. And it's coming the other way for American Fork.
By the way, Annapolis, you did bring up Heidemann Associates afterwards. We want to, of course, bring the viewers up to date that we're going to have the Heidemann Associates Woman of the Match be selected after we're done here. I don't know about you, but I think I have an idea of who it's going to be.
We'll also have the trophy presentation.
Well-deserved one, I think, for LP. I mean, like we said, Annapolis, like a lot of, like in these 3 finals, like these 6 teams, 5 of the 6 have been tracking as the best all season long. And while AF, you could argue, was probably equal to Lone Peak in a lot of ways, we certainly didn't think it was going to go this way today, but it's clear Lone Peak was the best team all season long in 6A, and it's showing.
It's interesting because he also had the defending champions in Davis, who went all season without a loss. They're the only team in 6A to go throughout the whole regular season undefeated, and they're upset early in the tournament by Skyridge. And it basically opened the path for Lone Peak to make it to this game and have this opportunity.
You kind of also wonder what could have been, too, with Davis against Lone Peak.
That ball floated over the top. Here comes an opportunity for American Fork. One in the middle of the park, cut out by the Knights. And that ball goes out of bounds and out for an American Fork throw-in. Over on the far side as Bailey Ballard brings it down. One back by Ivy Harding and the Knights. Here comes Jackman, who will be cut out. Here comes Kessler. Kessler, who will take it from distance. Looking for that top corner, but it goes over and out. Goal kick.
And that's the first real dangerous chance that AF has had here for a long, long time. And, of course, Annapolis, get back to our point that we were talking about with the dominance of Lone Peak and Davis throughout the season. I mean, you look back at last year's boys soccer season in 2022, or not this past one, 2023, but of course 2022 boys soccer, where everybody said Corner Canyon was the odds-on favorite to get to the title game. They got knocked out by, guess who? Marcello Gasparini's Harriman, and I was here at America First to call that match. And guess who they also beat? They also beat Davis. So it kind of just shows you, you know, you can't sleep on anything in 6A.
Syracuse last year, the number 12.
That's right. Second straight year, double-digit C won the championship. I mean, we might see another one next year. Who knows?
That ball goes into the hands of Collings. And that ball played out. Going to be one back by American Fork. Here comes Stevens in possession for the Cavemen. That ball played through and one cut out by Hannah Jackman. Ball out wide to Dowdle. Dowdle settles it for the Knights. And here comes Tessa Carter looking to play one through to Dowdle. One back in the middle of the park. And now Tessa Carter brings it down. Here comes Hannah out wide to Zettner. Zettner with a nice little bit of skill as Lone Peak looking to keep possession in the attacking third. Floated through, looking in the direction of Brooklyn Dowdle. Dowdle chasing, brings it down, takes a heavy touch, and out of bounds. American Fork throw. 12 minutes left to go. 5-0 American Fork, or excuse me, 5-0 Lone Peak lead. American Fork throw and some substitutions coming up. And the last remaining starter for American Fork, Lucy Kessler, heading out. And luckily for AF, they'll probably have another opportunity to play for this match next year. Lucy Kessler, who's instrumental to the team's coming back next season. Huddleston is coming back next season. If you bring back that core on what was already a good season for AF, who knows what'll happen next year?
Yeah, and you know that's the fun part about, you know, this game. Even though the scoreline doesn't really show it, I mean, it gives you at least a taste of what it's like to be on this stage. And you know, AF, at least for today, showed that while they're ready to get to this stage, they're not quite ready to be on this stage yet. So this will give them a lot of experience heading into next season. So I would expect that both of these teams may make a deep run in the playoffs in 2024. And I would definitely expect this matchup to be here again. If not here at Rio Tinto Stadium, definitely on the home field. But if there's anything you know, Alex Napolis, we know about soccer, is that when this derby is scheduled next year, the two derby series is scheduled next year, the home and away fixtures, there's going to be a big red circle on that date for American Fork because they're going to remember what happened in this game.
Free kick coming up for Lone Peak. Ivy Harding to take. We got 9:55 left to go here in the second half. Ivy Harding. Set piece opportunity coming up for Lone Peak. Harding will float one in. And it comes off the hands of Mathis and Sarah Mathis. Phenomenal recovery.
I think she was trying to pick that top corner, looks like, on Mathis because she saw her off her line. That's the second or third time, I think, in this half that LP's try to catch Mathis off her line a little aggressively. And all three times, Mathis has had to come up with some pretty critical saves.
Harding now for the Knights. Nicely cut out. Harding does a good job to keep possession. And now here comes Stevens for AF. Can't keep it in bounds. Or excuse me, that was Cambry Ballard for American Fork. Here comes Johnson. Nice step there from Bushman. And now here come the Knights once again in possession. That ball out wide to Zettner. To Harding. Nicely cut out there by Schneider. Takes a deflection out for a Lone Peak throw.
what's critical here, Annapolis, in the final 8.5 minutes of this ball game. We're in minute 73 right now. If you're AF, you really just want to make sure this doesn't get to 6-0 first of all, but you also want to show some pride. You also want to show like you're not going to go down without a fight. I mean, Lone Peak has just been beating AF to every single ball. Look, there it is again. Their pressure's just been relentless. If there's anything we want to see from AF here in the final 7.5 minutes of this match, is that they're not going to go down without a fight. They have to play to the final whistle here, no matter what the scoreline becomes here at this point.
Lone Peak in possession as Hannah Hemuli will try to play it up the sideline. One back by AF as Katie Polister brings it down. Out of bounds and out. Throw-in coming up for American Fork. Over on that far side, it's Presley Houghton to take. And now here comes Lone Peak with Tessa Carter. Wide to Harding, back to Zettner. Polister trying to win it back, or excuse me, Polister trying to win it back, and now here comes Polister who plays it up. Pushing American Fork, here comes Ballard. Camry Ballard can't get around that Lone Peak defense, and now here comes Brooklyn Dowdle trying to turn. Ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to be a Lone Peak throw with 6:30 left to go. And if you're with us, make sure to stick with us because we got soccer here on the Rewind Sports Network all day. The Lone Peak Knights taking on American Fork at the moment. Coming up next, this 4A state championship match between the Park City Miners and the Green Canyon Wolves. Green Canyon looking for their first championship, and Park City looking to take their first crown since 2009. And then at 5 p.m., the 5A matchup between Bountiful and Maple Mountain as that ball goes into the hands of Cullings.
Annapolis, we were talking about it on the way up. We're excited for that Green Canyon Park City matchup because that's number one against number one in terms of offense against defense. Park City, the best offense in 4A this year. Green Canyon, the best defense. It's going to be really interesting to see how that final plays out here in a few hours. And if I'm being honest here, I'm expecting a 1-0 or even a 0-0 game. It may come down to one big chance for both sides in that match between the Wolves and the Miners. It should be a really interesting matchup. Not to say Bountiful against Maple Mountain is also interesting as well, because you also have a traditional power in Bountiful coming in, and you have Maple Mountain also coming in as well, riding a lot of momentum after the win over Olympus in the semis. So you got two interesting finals here coming up.
The Lone Peak Knights officially pulling off the cavalry and bringing back in key players like Kate Denny, Bella Devi, Samantha Sellers, Kate Fuller back on the pitch, Tanavasa back on the pitch as they'll look to play out the last 4 minutes.
Yeah, get these seniors one last moment here before they lift the trophy in another 5 minutes or so. That's a great move there. You just love to see that, giving the seniors one last hurrah in a match that they've just dominated from start to finish here this morning.
You want to know a fun fact?
You know I love fun facts.
Kate Denny, Samantha Sellers, Brooke Hendricks, Kate Fuller, juniors and sophomores.
That's frightening. That is honestly frightening. I mean, Chantel Jolly, the head coach for LP's got to be thrilled at what she's got for the next couple of years. I mean, like I said, Annapolis, these are two programs, AF and LP, that split the titles between 2015 and 2020. I mean, these are two powerhouses. I mean, sure, AF is just barely getting back to the summit now, but from what we've seen today, LP is not only at the summit, they could be at it for at least another couple of years because they have so much talent returning. And give credit to Chantel Jolly, their head coach. she's just done an incredible job giving this team a lot to work with this season.
And Lone Peak, after last year, they came into this season with 1 goal in mind and 1 goal only, and that was to win the crown because of what happened last season in that semifinal against Farmington, where they were knocked out by the own goal late in the second half. They bring back most of their core again, players like Kate Denny, Kate Fuller, Samantha Sellers, Bella Devi, and now they are minutes away from achieving what they so desperately wanted last season, and it's that 6A crown.
And to do it against your biggest rival at AF and to leave absolutely no doubt on the field, a 5-0 scoreline against your biggest rival in a championship match, that has to feel really, really good. It could be 6 here.
No, Mathis. I believe it came off of Mathis, if not came off of Johnson.
I think it did too.
And now a throw-in coming up.
Yeah, down by the corner.
Bella Devi on the far side to throw it in. 2 minutes left, and that Lone Peak bench already on their feet, ready to storm the pitch. As soon as that buzzer and that whistle goes, the Lone Peak Knights seconds away from being crowned 6A state champions.
Like we talked about, Annapolis, I mean, in soccer, a 4-year title drought, a 4-year trophy drought is an eternity. Like, especially for a Lone Peak side that's so used to winning every single year. 4 years is an eternity without a title, and, you know, what's even scarier is that, you know, this team really does have Division I level talent. I mean, you talked about Bella Devi going off to UNC. That's always been a college powerhouse. I mean, you have to think, you know, maybe Jennifer Rockwood over at BYU might be giving some of these juniors and sophomores an early look to see what she might have for the next couple of years in the Big 12. I'm going to say it right now. A lot of these players for LP are not only Division I talent. If Jennifer Rockwood ever comes along, I think they could be de facto Big 12 level talent. That's how good this Lone Peak team is.
Kate Denny, who's been an instrumental part of Lone Peak over the course of the last 2 years, she's already had those conversations with BYU. It was a top soccer program in this country.
Yeah, but somehow Lone Peak's been able to score goals at home. BYU can't for some reason. A weird thing.
20 seconds left. We got a free kick coming up for American Fork as that ball's floated through. Johnson will bring it down. 12 seconds left. Now we got 10. Bella Devi winning it. Can Bella Devi make it 6 with a buzzer beater? Devi taking it in, top of the 18. The shot, Mathis save, and the Lone Peak Knights, the number 2 in the RPI, 6A state champions. The 4-year drought, the 4-year wait is over. Lone Peak taking the 6A crown. The final score, 5 goals to nothing. And we'll give credit to American Fork, who also had a tremendous season, but unfortunately come up short here in the state championship match. The celebrations from Lone Peak over there on the near the top of the 18. We'll have the trophy presentations coming up here shortly. Alex Tumalip, your woman of the match.
Look, this was just utter domination from start to finish. I mean, all credit to LP and AF, but this was just total domination from start to finish. And you know, I was gonna, with so many goal scorers, it was hard to pick a woman of the match, but, you know, choice for woman of the match presented by Cavemen and Associates, the full-service law firm committed to winning for you, the client. It has to be the woman who scored the hat trick in this one. I mean, it was Samantha Sellers who scored the hat trick in a championship match against their biggest rival in the match that really matters. For her to play like that and to get that kind of a performance in a championship match is something that you remember for the rest of your life. And especially if you're Lone Peak, for a team that's so used to winning, Annapolis. Just look at that. I mean, like we said, 4 years without a trophy in soccer is an eternity.
And if we come over here to the near side, American Fork will hold up that second place title. Again, it's a good season for AF to make it to this stage with a lot of underclassmen. They'll return a lot of really good players, and I expect them to compete for that 6A title again next season. If we go back over here to the far side, and there it is. It's the Lone Peak Knights, 6A state champions. Celebrations, smiles, and everything in between for Lone Peak. Tumulip, your final thoughts?
What was it? Look, we said it off the top, right? Whoever was going to take advantage of their chances more was going to win the match. And Lone Peak came out with the fire. They came out with the energy, and they just pulsated that energy from minute 1 to minute 80 here this afternoon. All credit to them. And you know, if you're AF, you know, like we said, Annapolis, this is a learning experience for them. Expect both teams to be back here next year, but I would expect AF to be back with a red circle on their calendars when that first game between Lone Peak and them comes out next season, because it should be a really fun match. Congratulations to both teams, but especially to LP, who reigns supreme at the peak.
The Lone Peak Knights, state championship number 2 for Lone Peak, has the final score here at America First, 5 to Lone Peak, 0 to American Fork, and that's going to do it here on the Rewind Sports Network, as always presented by Heineman Associates. Make sure to stick with us because we have 4A action coming up. We'll have 5A action late in the afternoon. All the action from America First Field here from myself, Alex Annapolis, from Alex Tumulip, and from Vince Francis on the camera. And from the entire Rewind Sports family, we thank you for watching. Stick with us. More action when we return.